automatically, the very intention to be in this eternal life, the very intention of the activation of the higher heart of compassion, unconditional love, brought us in this moment, connected to others through the higher heart, unconditional love, connected to others in the higher mind of God. We come together as a singularity in higher service and allow ourselves to be divine containers and vehicles for the celestial realms of light to come in through us and around us, to come in through the physical, mental, and emotional bodies, which is that of the sacred earth. And as her children of light, we become the great anchors. As the celestial realms and the most radiant ones gather, as they too come into that pinpoint of a creative unconscious agreement to be present, to blend together in the highest service of the divine plan. With each and every sacred in-breath and out-breath, from the activities of the day and all that is involved in our beingness in the physical, mental, and emotional, three-dimensional world, a three-dimensional density. And with each and every sacred in-breath and out-breath, it is the reminder that we are so much more. And through the sacred breath, through the divine rhythm of this cosmos, which is part of the great cycles of time and beyond time and space, we align in the rhythm of the cosmos, the rhythm of the divine, the great in-breath and out-breath, remembering that we breathe the breath of Brahma, we breathe the breath of God. And we feel the sacredness of this breath as all things of materiality begin to fade away, as we allow ourselves, as we give permission to ourselves to be in this divine, holy, sacred moment, where the very flowing and alignment of our physical chakras automatically become attuned and in tune to the higher frequency that begins to flow in and through us. The higher parts of ourselves come together in a sacred and holy alignment in this forever now. Each in-breath and out-breath anchors more deeply the cosmic Christ, the divine Maitreya, the great ancient of days, the broader scope of who and what we are, our mission and our purpose, the agreements and the alignments in the great cosmic awakening within our own memory cell. As each in-breath and out-breath now, in this sacred now and moment, accelerates the very electron spin in our atomic and subatomic frequency. As a holy, sacred, higher peace begins to flow through, in, and around us. As great sentinels of light, we hold our position. As we hold the sacred of the heavenly realms and the earthly realms in our higher heart of compassion and unconditional love. As we serve as a holy temple as we serve as the sacred testament and the covenant. We come into our sacred, divine, and holy roles in this moment. And as we do, there is a sense of great radiance that begins to fill us up in all parts of our beingness. Indeed, the blending of heaven and earth. As we expand our consciousness into the depths of the infinitude of the cosmic waters that flow and are endless. And in this flowing and in this sense of infinity, in this sense that transcends all limitation, all parameters, we begin to sense and feel, even in a physical, mental, and emotional body, in alignment with the higher parts of ourselves, the expansiveness of truly who we are. The great radiance of light, that indeed we are starlight. We are the great suns. And so we hold this position as great sentinels of light, as it moves in and through us in the resonant field of compassion, love, and endless eternal light. From the higher realms, the paradise realms, the crystalline realms, the Shambhala realms, all divine, sacred, holy frequencies of illumined, radiant light that has brought the perfect peace and the perfect balance, operating in the higher levels of a reality that sense and feels within the depths of our beingness. This sense of knowingness, of peace, a sense of knowing of the perfect balance, a sense of knowing of a celestial radiance of joy, a celestial radiance of wonderment and exploration, deep, deep within the memory cells that we hold within our DNA, begins to activate in the Ancient of Days, the original Eden tree, our part on the flower of life in our own evolution of the soul. And indeed, the re-remembering of our loving commitment because of the capacity to hold light and to anchor unconditional love. Indeed, our love for the divine, with all our might and all our heart, that overpowering, overarching love, that love that brought us here in this moment upon this sacred planet, that brought us into the realm of materiality. And as we begin to remember our cosmic origins, our cosmic promises, and our cosmic power, as we now consciously, in a world of duality and choice, choose to walk our path of light, choose to make known the unknown, choose to expand our consciousness, choose to connect consciously with the higher parts of ourselves and the Ami Shaddai, the family of light, who has always been with us, continues to be, and holds the frequency for conscious connection, wisdom, and divine guidance. And so each and every sacred in-breath and out-breath enhances this connection and abilities as we hold the resident field, to be the great containers that hold the great divine higher codes of the upper worlds, the unfallen worlds, the worlds of the most high radiance of the highest aeons, the Azimuth world, the worlds that are embedded deeply within our DNA, within our consciousness, that now begin to stir and move within our physical body, our mental and emotional body, into the higher chakra systems of which we are connected, as we begin to hold a frequency that threads the higher worlds to this world, within our own physical, mental, and emotional bodies. Crystalline grids within the very crystalline matrix of the blood moving in and through the physical body, but radiating a higher frequency, overlaying the physical body with a more sublime, higher energetic body, connected to the higher self, connected to the over self, connected to the higher aspects of ourselves. An opportunity in this moment with full moon frequencies, with divine elementals and divine alignments perfect in this eternal now. As we breathe the sacred in-breath and out-breath, as we allow the divine interthreading of our higher parts of ourselves into our physical, mental, and emotional beingness. As the higher heart of compassion and unconditional love we hold within the higher heart in our physical beingness, as it radiates out into its higher frequencies of light that begin to be embedded and connected in the overlighting of radiance that flows in and through us. That as above, so below, as above, as the micro and the macro integrate and interweave in this now. We breathe the sacred in-breath and out-breath as this great divine grace flows in, through, and around us, creating this alchemy of light, transformative and transcended in this moment. As the great avatars of light, as Jesus the Christ, who held that Christ consciousness in a physical, mental, and emotional body, connected into the higher aspect of himself, holding on to the highest of the aeons, even in the physical world. So too, beloveds, you do the same. We say to you, beloveds, you are the great containers of light, holding the higher frequencies as you strive in your consciousness of unfoldment. As you hold the higher light code, so too the family of light reaches to you. That spark of connection as a great nova, star brilliance beyond description, is connected, moving through the celestial realms of light and all the crystalline connections of that. Moving into the crystalline connections that you hold as part of your great Earth Mother, that you hold as part of the great Sun of Helios Vesta, the entire matrix that you hold within the vibratory rate of great suns. It moves now, focused and intentional, into the grid that is you, that crystalline matrix that you hold in you and around you, as part of the great matrix of your Divine Mother. and that of the highest of the celestial realms. We now come into the singularity of great light on the undulating waveforms of unconditional love. And we breathe the great in-breath and out-breath as we circulate this light into the crystalline matrix within yourselves, within community, within all the sacred kingdoms of the sacred earth, the mineral, the plant, the animal, and the human kingdom. Breathing in the higher crystalline codes of the ascended worlds of light, coursing in and through you, beyond you, holding the frequency of liberation, holding the frequency of unconditional love, holding the frequency of the Ein Sof or limitless light, holding the frequency and the radiance of the ascension, the sacredness of this moment in the cycles of time. And as you hold these frequencies, beloved, you attract, as a moth to fire, the radiance of so many other celestial beings from various dimensions, realms, and expressions of the one source, attracting to the great light emanating from the children of light upon the earth who have not forgotten. And so the great Ami Shaddai, the family of light, come and gather and hold this container and broaden it for the celestial codes of light to come upon the sacred earth and all that she is a part of. We breathe together the great sacred in-breath and out-breath, allowing and aligning the higher celestial codes of light, coming into the great Earth Mother, moving into the very core of her beingness, touching all of her life, and bringing in the higher alignment and the divine sacred Eden tree memory, the great divine Genesis memory, aligning once again in a new creation of a golden age of familiar frequency, aligning once again with the new vision, the children of the light, all part of a divine holy collective, bound together through their higher service and love of the divine, piercing through all illusions and delusions, piercing through fears and challenges, moving to make known the unknown, to bring forth the clarity as a rising sun, to move past fear and ignorance. And as they hold the sacred container for this, the codes move beyond all life, that only upon the sacred earth, beyond the sacred earth, holding the higher frequency code, the higher alignment, to bring forth once again the perfect peace and perfect balance. The great sentinels holding this frequency of illumined light through the crystalline grid. Hold your position. Hold your positions. And now the thought of the return does come. As we hold this divine and sacred energy, as we anchor the higher celestial realms of light, the Ancient of Days, the divine sacred codes of Christ consciousness, divine Maitreya, coming upon the sacred earth and all that she is part of, creating the divine sacred enchainment of lower frequencies, training into higher frequencies, not only within ourselves, but beyond and all that we are part of. With gratefulness, we begin to prepare ourselves to be back awake and alert. And as such, all the great radiant ones, we acknowledge the family of light, the Amishadai, who've held this platform as the divine and holy collective, begin to draw in their electromagnetic field, and we begin to draw in ours. Slowly but methodically, we prepare ourselves to be back awake and alert on the count of 3. But we take this moment now to remember this experience. Bring it into our thoughts before we go to sleep for our continued work in higher service. We intend now to be back awake, alert, and fully grounded on the count of 3. 1, 2, take a deep breath in, and 3. We are back, awake, alert, and we are grounded.